Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 3rd of June. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have Incitec Pivot, Regis Resources, Megaport, Brookside Energy and Callium Lakes. So if you have a request, send it through. Make sure you're getting the free newsletter every week. But our best ideas come out every Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor, so that's the report that you need to subscribe to. But if you love these videos, please share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is portfolio management, so if you'd like to open a broking account with me and have me help you directly, then please give us a call and I can explain how that works. And all the advice here, of course, is general only. So with Incitec Pivot, we could see for a period of time there, over the last several months, there was a very nice sustainable trend. But we did look at this one in mid-April. And I mentioned at the time, this is where we took profits for clients because just this volatility was a bit of a concern. Instead of having a nice steady movement up, we suddenly had these sort of big swings. And I said at the time that looked a little bit dangerous. So we could see that the share price has continued to ease back. It seems like, if we go back over the last year, it seems like this sort of 220 level is a major level for it. And looking most recently, potentially we've got this sort of double bottom here where the shares have jumped up here, they've come back to test it and have headed higher again. I think it's a bit too early to assume that that's a double bottom. We might just see something like what we saw here where it just continues to drift. I'd like to see a proper move up, take out this little peak here. If we could see a solid sort of few days and IPL trading up here around 250-ish, I think that would look like a buying opportunity. But yeah, keep an eye on it, potentially a double bottom there. Okay, Regis. So we could see over the last almost year, it's been in a downtrend and underperforming all the other gold miners. But there is something interesting about this. So what I've noticed is, it is starting to level out here. We could see the price action is, the daily ranges are sort of tightening up. So potentially we might be getting close to an end of this downtrend. And we can also see quite a bit of volume here at these sorts of levels, so possibly accumulation. But I think it's still way too early to buy it. I mean, we sort of had a similar thing happen here and it just continued to fall. So, too early to buy. I'd wait. I'd prefer to see a proper sort of, again, big move out of the range here on good volume, and then that would be a tentative buy, but I think it's worth keeping an eye on. Megaport, so we had this downtrend here with the lower highs and the lower lows, and then a few weeks ago we could see that it took out this previous high, so it started to break that downtrend. Came back, settled down near 13, and then this big day up here was the buy signal. So in the short term, it'll probably come back a bit. It is hitting resistance. We've got that old, we've got the other peak here. This peak here, it seems to be struggling against those. So I think short term it'll come back, but generally I think it should now head higher over time. But yeah, obviously there's all these previous sort of levels that it's going to find resistance at. So it'll be hard going, but I think over time it should head higher. Okay, Brookside Energy. So over the last few weeks, we could see it's been doing the right things in terms of sort of impulsive moves up on volume. And then any pullbacks is fairly corrective. Low volume, again, impulsive moves up volume. Low volume on the way down. So longer term, that's a positive. For the moment though, we should expect some short-term weakness. I think it doesn't look like it's ready to get going again. It looks like the majority of days it seems to be, we can see these red candles here, so it's closing lower than where it's opening. So yeah, a bit of weakness in the short term. I essentially want to see a big solid day up on volume. I mean, something similar to say this day here, where you get a big day up closing on the highs and a big spike in volume. So until we see something like that, I don't think it's a buying opportunity yet. Okay, and Callium Lakes. So we could see that in October, so we had this sort of clear resistance here, sort of broke higher in October, rallied a little bit, and then it's been sideways since then. But I think this sideways action staying above this breakout line here is a good sign. But it's clearly just in a range now. So look, I think as a hold, it's you'd hold it, but for a buy, it's obviously just in the middle of this range. So I'd prefer to see it clearly take out these previous peaks. So you'd be looking at sort of 25 cents or above in terms of a close. And then once it's up there on a closing basis, I think then you'll see a nice rally up towards perhaps where it was before, in the low 30s. Okay, well that's all for this week. If you have a request, send it through. I'll try to look at your stock next Thursday for you.